Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum, which you should definitely all join. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, how dare you? Then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Ranty and 10th Man, plus a whole bunch of people in Discord who I'll raise the mic on shortly. How you doing, Ranty? How you doing, 10th Man, first and foremost?
Very good, thank you, Nathan.
Very well. Good morning, Ranty.
Hi, 10th Man.
We've also got Dawn in Discord. How you doing, Dawn?
Oh, yeah.
And we've got Dougie.
I'm
How you
really
doing,
tired
Dougie?
today.
Can you hear us, Dougie?
I can indeed.
Good to have you. Earth-shaped investigator, very good to have you also. Hello, Earth-shaped investigator.
Hello, hello.
Hello, very good to have you. Jay.
Thank you.
Good to have you. L. Oh God, I hate these strange names that I can't pronounce.
Boricua. Hey, how you doing, Nathan?
Very good to have you. Sorry, I can't pronounce your name. Say your name again.
El Boricua.
El Boricua. Very nice, very nice. And we've got Renu, is it? Remzacorp. I have to lean about 3 foot forward to actually read these things. Can you hear us?
The Mofish.
Hello, can you hear me?
We hear you too, as last but not least, Maltish. Good to have you all. Right, let's do a bit of housekeeping.
Yeah,
I'm here.
And, oh, my bad, I didn't see you joining the hangout, Arwin. My eyes were somewhere else. Good to have you, Arwin. How you doing?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good
He
afternoon.
literally just joined.
Yes.
Right,
Any signs of Earth curvature?
perfect timing.
Nope.
Hey, I've seen some. I don't have the evidence, but I've got the anecdote. I saw some boats being obstructed this weekend. Big one and a yacht.
So the
So
question
you
is
saw
Earth curve.
obstruction.
Concealment.
From where?
Okay.
Dawn,
Yeah.
Hold on. All right,
Give
who's
me-
having this? Arwin or 10th Man? Who's having this?
Scrappy California cliffs. I was looking at the wind turbines as well. I've got some observations with my drone. They're all fisheye, obviously, so they need correcting.
Cool.
But it was
So
a
you
bit
s-
blurry, and obviously GoPros don't zoom, so I couldn't see the whole wind farm properly obstructed. But I did watch a yacht and a big boat, and the big boat came up as it came across the
Right.
coast.
And sorry,
It started to become concealed, didn't it?
Hold on, just for 1 second, Ranty. Just let Arwin have it out with him, and then once it's concluded, then fine. Hi,
Right.
Chocolate.
So I don't have evidence, and you guys are going to say it's not Earth curve anyway. It's just obstruction.
Well, we don't know.
But
Go
that's
ahead,
all I've
Arwin.
got. That's all I've got.
Concealment.
Okay, yeah. So we're not counting it. We're not counting it. It's cool.
Anything else, Arwin? Just to point out that it's not Earth curve, it's concealment. Anything else, or
Right. Well, it's just optical. You're basing your conclusion purely on observation. Basically, this downplaying how complex observation and the nature of optics really is.
Well,
And
I
that's
haven't completed
reflected
the whole
into the
method.
machination.
Hold on,
of
hold on.
curvature
Right, Dawn.
calculator.
just let him finish in the same way you did.
Okay.
Go on, Arwin.
Right. If you didn't catch that, the downplaying of the complex influences of optics is, for example, being reflected in the curvature calculation that tries to assume an orthographic view, for example. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. The perspective, the optics part is downplayed, oversimplified, in order to make it more easily imaginable that these optical phenomena are actually showing curvature.
Yeah. I mean, I would agree it is just a phenomena that I observed. My hypothesis was the ocean slowly curves away, and I saw a boat seeming like it came up over the curve. But then there was lots of blurring on the other day as well. So blurring is an effect. One of the days the horizon wasn't a hard line, it was a blurred line.
Right.
Hey, Don,
Right.
it's 10th man here. Where were you when you observed this?
East coast of England.
You have, a
Southeast
town?
coast.
You have a town name? On the east
That's
coast,
all it was.
you have
It's just an observation that fits with my belief that the ocean curves away.
Where specifically was it, Dawn?
What?
Where specifically, Ranty saying whereabouts? What town?
Oh, Scrappy, California cliffs.
Scrap? I've never heard of that place. You ever heard of that,
Right.
Ranty?
Great Yarmouth.
Yeah, it's a mile past Yarmouth, I think.
Fair enough. Your geography's better than mine. I'd never heard of that.
It was just recently Mandelaed into existence.
No, I don't think so.
If I wanted the sunset, but obviously that's the East Coast, I would have had to get up at 4:30 in the morning, which I tried one morning, and then the other 2 mornings I just thought, nah.
So, anything
No,
more?
sorry,
Taxman?
sunrise, yeah.
Anything more? Because I know Ranty's got something to say about this.
No, carry
Yeah,
on.
I do have a little more, and then I'll turn over to Ranty.
Okay.
When he said California, I thought he meant where I live, but the cliffs are called California, right? That was the
Yeah, it's just a silly name. There wasn't even any palm trees.
Gotcha. So I've been a lover of the ocean for many, many years and had a boat. I've never seen what you're seeing. So I could possibly have been with you and seen what you've seen. So it's optical because it doesn't show up all the time.
Right, yeah, you can't see it all the time. I'd agree.
So it's not consistent.
No, not totally consistent, no. But it's consistent enough that if you look enough, it happens again and again.
Right, exactly your words. When you look enough for observation, it sometimes shows up again and again and again, and other times it doesn't show up. So where did the curve go when it doesn't show up?
I've heard the myth that boats go over the curve. So this time I looked for a boat and I saw one. And at one point I saw more of it than at another point when it was smaller, further away.
Well,
so it fitted with the thing that I've been told about what happens.
So the myth you heard was boats go over a curve, and your own personal observation is sometimes it looks that way, but then other times the curve goes away that they're supposed to be going over. So it is a myth, rightly divided.
Yeah, I'd have to admit, if I had the P900 and zoomed in, I might have ended up seeing the whole boat, even when it looked obstructed. I don't know.
Sounds like a good time for me to turn it over to Ranty.
Yeah, I was just wondering, do you know which direction you were looking in, basically? I mean, you've pretty much answered everything anyway, which is that you can't really claim that it is actual Earth curve that was obstructing it.
Yeah, for me, it's evidence, but I mean, that's not much of a proof, is it? We know there's loads of nuance there.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking at the location. I mean, were you looking sort of south way? Were you looking east? Where were you looking?
I was on the straight bit of the beach, and the wind turbines were over to the right. A mile or two to the right, I reckon, out.
Okay, I don't have those wind turbines actually plotted on, so I can't actually get an idea.
I can find it if we talk about it another time, I can find more details.
Yeah, I mean, I could probably look it up now and find out. All I'm looking at is there's a channel there. Yeah?
If you live anywhere near there, it's a cool spot.
There's a channel between, obviously, Scrapby and North Holland, Amsterdam, South Holland, Bruges, Dunkirk, Calais. You know, all of that, you've got this funnel effect. Would you agree?
Right.
Where the two coasts meet?
I don't know.
Like
Sorry, I didn't hear what you said, Ranty. A what effect?
It's like a funneling effect.
Oh, funnel. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Well, it means that, let's say between, where would we go? Say between Hastings Folkestone or Dover and Calais, something like that. Through there, you've got a very, very narrow passage, yeah? So you've got a lot of water that will be trying to push through that very narrow gap.
Oh, you mean a bottleneck?
Yeah, as the tide pushes in from the English Channel.
Okay.
So the English Channel, you've got the tides, it moves east to west. So as you've got your tides coming in, for me anyway, it would be heading up the English Channel, and it will be funneling between those locations, Calais and Dover. It would continue to funnel all the way through Scrapby up to North Holland and in that location. Because it's not the open sea.
Is this funneling going to affect my observations then?
Sorry?
Is the funneling going to affect my observations?
Well, what you're going to get is you're going to get localized bulging in that area. So when you're looking at distant boats, you are going to see that effect having some kind of effect on the boat. Localized bulging. It's the same as shoaling. Yeah, you know, like the effect of shoaling. You know what that is, don't you?
No.
I don't. What's shoaling?
Can I?
Hold on. What's shoaling? No, I don't know.
Okay, shoaling. So when you go from the deeper water into the narrower water, the more shallow depths, as the tide moves in and recedes, you get this friction that happens on the seabed. So as this friction, the water touches the seabed, it slows down, and the oncoming water piles over the top of the slow water underneath. It's called shoaling, and it causes breaks, and it's what gives the surf in Australia and New Zealand and stuff like that. So it can artificially increase the height of water in that general location.
Anything to respond to that, Dawn?
I don't know anything about localized bulging or funneling.
No, that's fair enough. Anything else to add, Ranty?
Not really, because I mean, we don't know the full details of this observation, and he's got no proof anyway. It was interesting just to walk him through that and see whether or not he followed it.
No worries. Anything else?
Just an anecdote. That's all.
No,
I had a question for Randy.
Hold on. Go on, Dawn.
So I was just saying, yeah, it's not proof. It's just an anecdote, and I've got some photos. I was going to talk about, but I also saw the horizon look.
Just one thing at a time. I'm going to summarise it at the end, Dawn, and then we'll move on if that's okay by you. Okay. Go on, Owen.
Right, yeah. About that, what was it again? You called it, Ranty? The
shoaling?
The funneling, right?
Yeah.
So that's like a bottleneck effect? Is that what you mean? And then the bottleneck, the push from the water getting in a tidier channel, the bottleneck effect will cause a rush that'll then really push almost on top of the ocean, right? Is that the bulging effect?
Yeah, I mean,
the rush of the water.
If you put me on the screen, Nathan, I can sort of show you.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, so obviously in our location, we get tides that move in from the east and the west. So where I live, obviously the tide moves in from this direction over here and it recedes the other way. So we know that this is the direction of the tides. And if you look through the English Channel, so you've got the Celtic Sea here, and then you've got the English Channel. As the tides move in, hang on, let me just push that back to where it was. As the tides push in between Calais and Dover, which would be here, you've got all this volume of water here in the English Channel trying to squeeze through this very narrow gap here between there and there. So what's going to happen is you are going to get localized bulging because you've got this bottleneck effect as the water's trying to push through from here through there. And it continues. It also continues between there's Scrapby. So you've got this channel. And it's the same thing, so you are going to get that effect.
So you don't need this thing, Randy, to debunk mine. So you haven't got a zoom camera and there's blurring, then it's actually true. You've debunked me with truth.
Right, has anybody else got anything to add on this specific point brought up by Dawn or not?
I just love your research.
Okay, great. So in essence, we've got a situation where Dawn requires two fallacies in order to make this evidence actually prove a globe, which it does not. The first is to beg the question, assume the Earth is a sphere, and he does that by reifying the apparent position where the sky meets the ground, known as the horizon, into the leading edge of the sphere. He also begs the question that things are going over that reified edge of his sphere belief. So the leading edge of a sphere is not the arbitrary position assigned as the horizon, where the sky is appearing to meet the ground. So if you're going to assert that things are going over the horizon as they reach the vanishing point, it requires you to beg the question and assume your outcome and dictate to us that what's actually happening is it's going over the leading edge of your sphere belief. So that's a begging the question fallacy.
I respond.
Yeah.
It's my hypothesis. It's not begging the question.
Oh, thank you. That's a great reminder. Sorry, that was the other point. I didn't have a pen and paper to hand to write down these as they went along. Thank you, Dawn. You reminded me beautifully. So Dawn also declared that it was his hypothesis. Now, a hypothesis would establish a cause and effect relationship. So if he is to assert that the effect he is observing is blurry boat or boat disappearing bottom up or whatever he's asserting, and the cause of that effect is Earth curve, as denoted by the word hypothesis, then there's a method that you could employ to validate that claimed cause. You haven't validated it, it's your assumption, actually a begging the question fallacy, but nevertheless, you haven't validated that which you assume caused the effect. You've just, you've just declared it.
I've used an assumption as part of my hypothesis, yeah, I agree.
Well, no, that's fine. An assumption is acceptable.
One other thing. When you
Just
say
bear with me,
leading
Dawn.
edge of
I'm
a
nearly
sphere,
there. I'm nearly there,
spheres don't
Dawn.
have a leading
Dawn,
edge.
I'm nearly there.
The edge is everywhere.
Dawn. Did I not give everybody plenty of time to talk?
Oh, I just wanted to respond.
Yeah, I know you just want to talk over the top of me. I get it, Dawn. That's why I'm getting pissed off with you pretty sharpish. I made absolutely sure you exhausted all of your points before I started talking, didn't I?
But now I've got a response.
I don't care. I'm still talking.
What?
So, do I care that you've got a bloody response while I'm in the middle of mine? No. Shut up. Well, part of it, don't you understand? I've given you all enough time to get all of your crap out. Now I'm pointing out why it's crap. Don't interrupt me because you don't like it.
And lie about it, right?
What a bastard. I gave you plenty of time to make your claim. Now you're calling me a liar. I haven't even finished my statement yet and you're interrupting me and calling me a bloody liar. What have you got to say for yourself? Haven't even finished my statement. You're interrupting me after me giving you plenty of time to make your assertions and other people respond and you rebut them. I waited till it was all exhausted, then I started making my point, and then you start talking all over me. What's your malfunction?
You interrupted me.
I was in the middle of a sentence. I made absolutely certain.
You stopped talking, and I responded, and then you interrupted.
Right, Dawn, you don't get to take part in this show anymore. Right,
So
not in this show.
The next time you have an important point you want to make, just write it down on a note and wait for Nathan to be done.
Yeah, when you said the word hypothesis, do you not think I had a bloody point to make over the top of you, but waited until you finished? Yeah? I didn't just say it over the top of you, I waited until you finished all of your points. Then I started making my point, and then you interrupted me, because you decided that you didn't like what I was saying, so it was your turn to talk while I spoke. Yeah? This is the globe head mute button. Every time I open my mouth, it's very important that they interrupt. Even if I've given them ample time to make all of their claims, they must interrupt. Yeah, a hypothesis establishes a cause and effect. You haven't validated your cause. An assumption is perfectly acceptable in a hypothesis. You assume what your cause is. Then you go and validate it. So you don't just end at the hypothesis stage, where you say, well, I assume this causes it, so it does. There's a process that you have to employ to actually validate that which you assume caused the effect as the effect. You validate it through experimentation. That's my point that you're so keen to interrupt. You haven't validated that which you presume caused the effect. Saying you've got a hypothesis just proves that you haven't validated it with an experiment. You've just claimed it's your religious belief in Earth curve causing this effect, Dawn. Yeah, that's the point. That's what undoes this argument, not Blur. Right, should we go on to the next housekeeping question? Or have you got another point to make, Ranty?
Yeah, I've got one extra point to show.
You're on, go ahead.
That's all right, okay. So this is an observation that I took recently, about two and a half weeks ago. I'm just going to show you the location. Let me bring up Google Earth. So what happens is that this bay drains when the tide recedes. So all this Morecambe Bay all comes out, people can go out there and they can do cockle picking and they can make a little bit of money out doing that sort of thing. But anyway, I was filming from down here, this location, and I was filming basically along this same line in this general direction. And obviously the tide had changed. The tide was then pushing in. And what was happening is this was going to fill back up again. And as you can see, this would be the same effect as the shoaling effect, because it's actually going up a slope, same as the slope is receding when you're talking about the shoaling. So take a look at this. You can see the tide pushing in. You can see a gentleman fishing there. You can see the tide in the background. Look how high that is as it rushes in. Yeah, it's an incredibly awesome piece of footage. I can show you what the tide looks like normally. I'll just run through this just to show you what, because I do pan around. So this is the tide normally without that shoaling effect. Oh, hang on. Hopefully I'll be able to show it you here. It's very serene anyway. It's not very brutal. You know, there's not a lot of huge push. As you can see, it's quite calm. But the effect during that in that channel is massive. I'll just scroll through again and show it you yet again. There you go. So that will cause physical blockage of things in the distance, forcing the water higher than where he is, as you can see. There we go. That's all I need to say.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Runty. Right, should we get on with the next housekeeping question?
Sure.
Yeah, it's only been 20 minutes.
That's okay. That's the whole point in getting you guys to ask it.
Any
I had one more response from before.
Again, Don?
I just had one more response from before.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Spheres don't have a leading edge because they just have one edge. The whole thing is one edge.
Oh, God.
Oh, right. So what would you claim is blocking the thing in the distance then?
The edge. But you don't need the word leading because that word leading isn't needed because it's one edge.
I thought it didn't have an edge only 20 seconds ago.
One edge all the way around.
Okie dokie. Moving on.
Any sign
Sorry,
of
Aaron.
axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No. Shout out to Earth is Seriously Flat, sharing Nathan's channel to all the children. Thank you very much, Earth is Seriously Flat. Really appreciate your support.
There is no sign of axial tilt, although you can think that you're tilting, if you so wish.
Tilt?
Yes.
Anybody in
But
Discord?
tilt is all relative.
Oh, got Brenda. I'm sure Brenda's got something to say.
Morning.
Morning.
Afternoon.
Yeah, Ranty, you're wrong about shoaling. Shoaling doesn't cause a bulge in water. It causes
it does.
waves to be higher. It doesn't cause bulging.
Cause low.
Waves to be higher.
Wow.
It causes waves to be higher, but doesn't cause
that's
bulging.
That's what it is. It doesn't cause the
What do
water
you think
to
bulging
physically
is,
bulge.
Brenda?
I love you sometimes, Brenda. You're brilliant.
Water. There's a difference between the average height of the water and the height of the waves.
Does it make
there's
it
a
higher?
difference. It just causes larger waves. That's all.
So they're higher then?
Hmm?
They're higher.
The larger waves sometimes are going to be higher, yeah, Nathan.
All right. Can you show me? Can you show me?
Yeah, but that's not bulging.
Just a quick question.
Ranty is claiming bulging.
Okay.
There's no bulging.
What
I
is
appreciate
bulging
that,
then,
Brenda. Thank you for pointing out the waves can get higher. Okay. Can you show me in any geometric Earth curve calculator where that's taken into consideration, please?
Wait, didn't they just
Hold on,
update
Owen.
it?
Hold on.
No,
Brenda's been set to task. Show me any geometric Earth curve calculator that takes that effect you've just detailed as a real thing into effect, please.
That takes wave height?
Yep.
No,
You're
because the geometric calculator is generalized over land and sea, so it
I
doesn't
couldn't
take
care
into
less.
account
I don't need to know what it is.
No, it takes-
Sorry.
It
Let's
doesn't
just say
take
it once
hills
more.
into account
Brenda,
either.
Brenda. The question on the table is, show me where it is applied in any geometric calculator. The only thing I want to see is it applied, or you saying no, it isn't applied, which we all damn well know it isn't.
The curve calculator doesn't take into account hills either.
Sorry, it doesn't take into account hills.
Correct. Why would it?
Sorry, Brenda, show me in the curve calculator where the effect that can obscure things in the distance is taken into consideration, because the Earth curve calculator is going to assert that Earth's doing that based on the distance. So do you want to show me where it's accounted for in any geometric mathematics? Show me.
Well, features of the Earth, like hills or waves, can obscure your vision, but...
Yes, I know. Now I'd like to see that which you declare can obscure your vision in any geometric calculator, please. Show me that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. Why would...
It doesn't have to. Yeah, it does. It's something that can cause things to be obstructed into the distance. So where it only asserts one cause Earth curve, and you've just made it very plain that other things can cause an obstruction in the distance, I would expect it to take that into account.
Why?
Because it's something that can block things in the distance that isn't the very assertion that the Earth curve calculator makes. Because according to that, it would be Earth curve when you run the numbers, because it's the only assertion it can make. Shout out to Earth is Seriously Flat. Indoctrination. We don't come from Big Bang. Yeah, I agree with that.
There could be a tree standing in front of me. The Earth curve calculator doesn't take into account the fact that a tree could be blocking my vision.
Why not?
Idiot.
Why not?
It does.
Why not?
Why would it? Why would it?
Because it's something that's blocking your vision. So given that it only asserts Earth curve obstruction as the single only cause of things being obstructed, and trees, waves, and various other things can obstruct things in the distance, I would expect it to take that into account because it's a differing cause than the singular only cause it asserts. That's why. Why doesn't it?
Why should an Earth curve... Why should an Earth curve calculator take into account things like hills, mountains, waves, trees, rocks, and buildings into account? Why?
I just said literally 10 seconds ago, because they are other things that can cause obstruction in the distance, and it's not the single cause asserted by the geometric calculator. Other things can cause obstruction in the distance, so that's why.
I think I know where Brenda's coming from, because what she's saying is the Earth curve calculator is just a calculator for the shape of the Earth and how much should be dropped. But what we're trying to do is use it as an observation. So we're trying to apply observations inside the curve calculator, and that's the trick, you see. Globers want us to refer to the Earth curve calculator for observations. And when we apply observations to it, they don't match.
No, I don't want it to refer to it for observations.
Oh,
I want
good.
you to refer to it for observations of curvature.
Oh, right. So you don't want us to apply observations to a geometric calculator, but you want us to apply Earth curve. Well, so what you're saying is it's only useful for begging the question. Yeah, we know.
No, it's not begging the question.
Yeah, it is. It's assuming its outcome. It's got an R value. So if you're using it to prove Earth is a sphere, it already knows Earth's a sphere. It's got an R value. So until you prove that R value, it's absolutely begging the question. It's already got the R value. It already knows Earth's a sphere. How is it going to prove how is it going to prove Earth's a sphere when it already knows the radius? It already knows it's a sphere. It's already got the radius value. It's absolutely begging the question. Do you not understand what begging the question is?
The Earth curve calculator doesn't prove the Earth is curved.
I know. It doesn't prove anything. It's a reification fallacy. We don't live on a model. We don't live in a heliocentric model. We don't live on a globe. It's absolutely preposterous to assert that a model dictates what we do or do not see. It's an outrage. My eyes dictate what I do and do not see.
It's not talking about your observation.
Oh, well, why do people compare it to them then? People put observations next to those mathematics all day long.
The Earth curve calculator...
That's not my question. Why do they compare pictures to them then?
To calculate curvature.
Well, you've just said that it's not comparable, and I agree. It's not comparable to pictures. You can't compare a geometry calculator to an optical representation of the world.
Why not?
Because it's not optical. It doesn't account for trees. It doesn't account for waves. It doesn't account for anything except for your fundamentalist religious belief that Earth's a sphere. It doesn't do anything. It's useless.
How do you think you see anything without optics?
I do see things with optics. And is it an optical calculator? Or is it a geometric calculator? So it's an optical calculator? Right. No. It doesn't apply optics to anything. It's not useful for calculating what I see. It's not an optical calculator. It's a geometric calculator that excludes all other effects and asserts that only one effect is applicable, Earth curve. Not trees, not waves, not diffraction limits, nothing. Just Earth curve, a single cause asserted by this reification fallacy.
Right. That's not a fallacy.
Yeah, it is. Reification, look it up. We don't live on a model. So this model does not show where I live. That's called a reification fallacy. Also begging the question, it's got an R value. It already knows Earth's a sphere, so it's not useful for proving Earth's a sphere, but that's precisely what people use it for when they compare optical imagery to geometric mathematics.
The Earth curve calculator doesn't assume where you live.
Yeah, it does. It assumes the Earth's a sphere. It's got a bloody R value. It absolutely assumes where you live. It tells you in the name. Earth curve. It's telling you precisely where you live, and it's a total fraud. It's a total lie. It doesn't include any other obstructions. Go to Tim Osman's channel. Look at the great big long list of things that are not included in that geometric calculator. Not one of those things is ever accounted for.
Yeah, it doesn't have to. It just
Yeah, it does. If it's representing my world according to you fundies, it absolutely needs to take into account absolutely everything that could cause obstruction, not ignore everything.
No, that's how science is done.
Oh, science. So this is a scientific
Well, it's
model.
curvature.
So it's a scientific model.
Yes, of course it is.
Excellent. What's the natural observed phenomena in this reification fallacy?
The curvature of the Earth.
No, that's the fundamentalist religious belief that you're asserting and trying to prove with the begging the question fallacy that already has a R value.
No, it's already building on the fact that we know that the Earth is.
Oh, it's already building on the fact that we already know. Building on the fact that we already know, meaning we already know. The very definition of begging the question.
Not used to prove.
I'm talking, Brenda. The very definition of begging the question is to assume your outcome. And you've just declared quite boldly that you already know. That's the definition of begging the question.
It's not.
She's going to rumpus the shit out of it now. We've come to the conclusion, isn't she? She's going to talk all over me. To declare that you already know is to declare that you have assumed your outcome. The thing you're trying to prove is sphere Earth, and you already know. That's the definition of begging the question.
You don't use the Earth curve calculator to prove that the Earth is curved.
No, you don't, because it's an affirming the consequent formal logical fallacy.
Richard. You use it to measure the curvature.
So then why do you guys always
it.
try? I don't understand.
Because
you
it's
just
something
said you don't use it to prove curve, but you guys always use it to prove curve?
Okay,
are you crazy?
Chocolate and Brenda only. Go ahead, Chocolate. Start again. Hopefully Brenda won't interrupt.
I mean, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's just
No, it's fine. I'm telling Brenda off. It's fine. You go ahead, Chocolate. Go ahead.
Yeah, she said you don't use it to prove curve, but what they do is try to use it to prove curve. So I'm kind of confused.
No, we don't use it to prove curve. We use it to disprove flatness.
Right.
That's how science works. Science works by falsification, not verification.
That's
you don't know
total
anything
bollocks.
about science.
So wait, so you use it to disprove flatness by assuming an R value and putting it into a calculator.
Look,
those are already known quantities.
Just Chocolate and Brenda. Just Chocolate, just Brenda.
So those are known quantities that you need to account for. And if you can't account for them, then your model is wrong.
What model? What model are you talking about? Earth is just flat. I don't need a model.
I think the model that he assumes that we assume.
Oh, so she's assuming that we're assuming.
I still can't hear anything. You're just mumbling.
Just don't talk when other people are talking.
I'm sorry, I'm at work. I gotta mute for a second.
Right. I said I think that Brenda is assuming again that we are assuming a model, as usual. She always does.
Yes, you do. Your model is the Earth is flat.
Yeah,
That's
are assuming that we are assuming a model. That's right.
You don't believe the Earth is flat?
That's not a model. That's a geometrical.
Yes, it is.
Aspect. No, it's a geometrical aspect, Brenda. It's not a model. Yeah,
like curvature. Like curvature is also geometric, isn't it?
It's a geometrical aspect. A model is a model.
Yeah.
A geometrical aspect is a geometrical aspect, Brenda.
Yeah, so that aspect is false if it can't account for the observations. The observations accounted for by
It can.
the Earth curve calculator falsify your model.
Don't have a model. It's been said 3 times.
You
Hey,
do have a
Brenda.
model that the Earth is
Brenda.
flat.
Go, hold on. Arwin, are you done?
Yes, I'm done.
Go ahead, 10th man.
Brenda, you said a key sentence there. It proves the model, but I think you are using the Earth curve, rightly named, calculator to prove your curve model. It's geared up and assigned to prove a curve. It's for you guys. You needed to keep believing the curve is there. It's not the reality, though.
That's false. I'm not using the Earth curve calculator to prove
Then why is it
curvature.
called- why is
It's
it
a
called
measurement,
Earth
not a
curve?
proof.
Hold on, 10th man. Go ahead,
Hold,
Brenda.
now you're double
hold
speaking.
on,
Arwin.
You just
Arwin,
said that it
Arwin, let her respond. Go ahead, Brenda.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you're just lying. You just said that
Ten,
you were
Arwin,
using
I just,
it to disprove that. Now you're saying
Arwin. I asked you if you were done. 10th man, once he's done, you can go again.
Yes, Brenda, that's why you labeled it Earth curve calculator.
Yeah, it calculates the curvature based on the globe model.
When I take a measurement device in whatever shape or form, tape measure or a stick ruler, it doesn't say in advance Earth curve measurement device.
Why are we still letting
Bre-
her talk? She's double.
I don't know
Brenda,
what he's talking about.
Brenda,
He's
can
just
you
incoherent.
can you show us your model?
Why
Hold
are
on,
we
hold on. I
You said
just
a
want to,
globe model.
hold on, chocolate. Hold on. Arwin's next anyway. 10th man's point
Yeah.
is, you're begging the question. It declares it in the bloody title. That's his point.
Yeah, it's not proof that the Earth is curved. It's a measurement based on our model. It's something you expect to see based on the globe model.
Can I talk now?
It's a,
I don't know. 10th man, let us know when you're done. Arwin's really keen. Shout out to Julio Pabon. Brenda 2019. Curve calculator does not prove curvature. Quote. Yeah, thank you very much, Julio.
yes, you can quote me on that all you like. Quote me. I'm fine with that. Go ahead. The Earth curve calculator does not prove that the Earth is curved. It's based on our globe model to calculate calculate and predict future observations. That's what a model does. Based on a model, you can predict future observations. That's how science works.
No, it doesn't.
You don't know anything about science.
Brenda.
You know nothing
Brenda, we
about
don't
it.
need a string about homs at the end and telling us what we do and don't know. You've made
It's not
your
an
claim.
ad hom to tell you you don't know anything because you
just need
obviously
10th one
don't.
to make a response. Thank you. Shout out to Earth is Seriously Flat. If gyros would work, then balloons can just wait for China to arrive under. Flight travel would be easier. Earth is seriously stationary. Testy globe. Shout out to Earth is Seriously Flat. Go ahead, 10th man.
Yes, Brenda, if you've already begged the question that Earth is a sphere, then you got to come up with a Earth curve or Earth sphere calculator to reify that. This is what we're trying to say here.
That's just gibberish. The way science works is that you make observations. From those observations, you build a model. The model is used to predict future observations. That's what the Earth curve calculator does. It predicts future observations based on the globe model, and that you need to account for. You can't, based on your flat Earth model.
We've heard it. I've heard it.
Those observations.
Right, hold on. Right.
Okay.
If every rebuttal is just
Brent.
the same exact claim, then you know
Yes.
that's the end of the conversation because you don't have anything else.
Because you
Brenda,
can't
I'm
figure
in the
it out.
middle of
You can't
talking.
understand the
Brenda,
response.
Brenda, I was in the middle of talking. Can you please not talk over me? Thank you. So if we're just going to get the same repeated claim as a rebuttal every single time, it seems like the conversation has drawn to a close. Unless Arwin's got anything
Yes,
to add.
because your inability to
I
understand
hadn't
the
finished
answer.
my statement, Brenda. Please, can you stop interrupting me? I know you're very upset about this. Thank you.
I'm not upset.
Well, just stop talking then. Thank you. So, unless Arwin's got anything to add, again, I'd like to summarise
I do.
once everybody's finished. Go ahead,
I
Armin.
do. Yes. So I am almost here now to the point of nausea, having to endure this bullshit of Brenda that is literally making fundamentally self-contradicting statements within the time span of minutes. Again, she's to that level of psychosis, and I'm getting really fed up why we're even tolerating somebody in this fluid state of mind that is obviously not rational in any way. This is a complete waste of our time entertaining somebody like this in this kind of state of mind.
Explain the contradiction, Arwin.
I'll do it.
Go ahead, 10th man.
Yeah, so you're claiming it's a model, then you're claiming you have a calculator to prove your model. We're saying that's not proof because you've already begged the question with the model. And if I take you to task and ask you a secondary question, I wonder how you would answer that.
That's not specifically what I was referring to.
I wasn't referring to
I can
what
answer
you were
that.
referring.
I can answer that.
Okay, so what?
So you're going to hijack this now.
Just two people at a time. Just 10th man. Just Brenda.
Thank you.
Go ahead, 10th man.
Evolved Sea Sparrow missile. Validate your curve model with that.
What's he talking about? We're not talking about missiles. What are you talking about?
Well, you're saying that there's a curve.
No,
we have.
I'm going exactly the same direction. Can I please continue my statement now?
As soon as 10th man's finished, he's nearly done.
No, she's not.
No, 10th man. Brenda will just repeat the same thing, Arwin. I know that much. I'm sorry you're being held back.
Yeah, you ask the same question, you get the same answer.
No, this is not the point I was trying to make. I was not getting back into the idiotic subject.
I will stop talking so Arwin could finish, and then you can bring me back if you like.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, 10th man. Go ahead, Arwin.
Right. What I was referring to is her literally making technical contradictions. It's not just confusion. It's literally saying, no, the Earth curve calculator is used not to prove curvature, but to disprove flatness. And then within a time span of 1 or 2 minutes, she says, no, the curve calculator is used to prove curvature based on the model. Okay? That's just it. It's so full on double speak. This is not a person that can have a rational train of thought. We are wasting our time here.
That's a lie, Arwin. I never said that the Earth curve calculator proves curvature. You're lying.
You're right. You said it disproves flatness.
Correct.
Okay.
That's how scientific.
Can I ask you
would you
a
like
question?
me to teach you? No. Would you like me to teach you about how science is done, Nathan?
How you want to teach me how science is done?
Yes. You're an imbecile.
Brenda,
you don't understand.
Oh, shut up! Don't ad hom me, cheeky bitch.
I'd like to make a point.
Shout out to Jimbo Con. On Google Earth, 200-mile distance is minuscule. Flat Earth proofs rely heavily on the calculator. No, they don't. What if it's wrong? I never agree with Brenda, but presumably I also like to reify a globe model. Shout out to Jimbo Con for the super chat. You're wrong, but thank you for your support.
Can I present something, Nath?
Okay. Can I just ask Brenda
I just want
one
each
question?
person to round out their points. Sorry, so 10th man and Arwin have been desperately trying to get to the end of their points.
Yeah,
I was pretty much finished.
Let me know when they can complete a coherent sentence.
Did you keep interrupting them, Brenda? Go ahead, 10th man.
I'm not interrupting anybody. I have 2 points.
I just said go ahead, 10th man, and the next person to speak was Brenda. Shocking.
But they weren't talking.
Yeah, that's because you were.
They're just quiet.
Yeah, I say go ahead, 10th man, and the next person to speak is Brenda. So shut up, Brenda. Go ahead, 10th man.
Yeah, the evidence that we need for your model is not to be found other than begging the question and an Earth curve calculator that already has Earth curve in it. So when I said, what about the evolved Sea Sparrow missile and how that would work over your model, you sounded like you didn't know what it was.
For the umpteenth time, the Earth curve calculator is a prediction of the globe model. It doesn't prove the globe model. It's a prediction. That's how science works.
Wow.
Okay,
Another
hold on,
contradiction.
hold on.
Arwen.
When you said you were done, Ranty's waiting patiently now.
Yeah, I'd like to.
And
I'd like
Ranty's
to-
wrong about shoaling.
Go ahead, Ranty.
Okay,
you're
well,
on.
I'm just going to talk about that right now. So,
Yeah, you're
you said
wrong.
Brenda, he hasn't got
So you-
two words out, and you're saying he's wrong.
So you said before that the shoaling effect will cause the height of the waves to be higher in certain locations. I've called that localized bulging. You've called it wave height. Yeah. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So what we have here is Hawaii. Now, don't take this literally, but I've put a couple of circles around it, and basically we've given an area between each where this shoaling effect may take place. It's not quite accurate, you know. Obviously, there's deeper areas and shallower areas, but essentially this land is higher than the water, and the depth of the ocean is dramatic as it falls away because it's quite a steep island. So what we're going to get is a lot of shoaling effect in this area. So if people are actually doing any observations from this location here, what they'll find out is they look out to sea, they're going to get this shoaling effect, a ring essentially around the island where shoaling is taking place due to the nature of the topography of the land underneath the sea. For instance, if I scroll in and we go down to this location here, we're already at 2 miles deep. It's 2 miles deep. And it's only, let's see how far away it is from shore, 2 miles deep, and it's only 30 miles from shore. So between there and there, it's going to create this shoaling effect. And I'm going to call that localized bulging, right? You can disagree. And here we go. If we look at this shoaling effect, I've typed in Hawaii shoaling effect. As waves slow down, they get closer together. Their wave period shortens. This process is called shoaling. And it causes the height of waves to increase. The steeper the bottom slope, the greater the increase in the wave height, right? So if you're stood at the shoreline and you're looking out to sea and you're looking over an area where you've got this shoaling effect, you are in effect looking over waves that are higher than where your feet are at the shoreline. In which case, I'm going to call that looking over localized bulging, because the nature of water is to lay flat. However, due to the topography of the land in this location, it is being forced higher than it would be when it's left in its natural state. By virtue of that, I'm going to call it localized bulging. And to give you an idea of just how powerful that localized bulging, i.e. wave height, could be, we have a quotation here from the Hawaii Education website here, and the shoaling effect. Shoaling effect. It gives you some heights of the shoaling effects that will happen during this storm in '95. We get 24 foot high shoaling effect, 14 foot, and 19 foot. So if you're down and you're looking out over here, you're going to have a physical obstruction of up to 24 feet or a 2-story building in your way. That will mean that if you was at Hawaii, you could not look over to this national park over here from the shoreline without having to look over this localized bulge or shoaling effect that is happening between you and it. Would you agree there, Brenda?
Wow.
What do waves and wave height have to do with curvature?
I'm just asking, would you agree with that synopsis that I've just put together?
Yeah, I think my objection is that it's misleading to call it bulging. It's just an increase in the average wave height. It's not
Localized
a bulge
bulging.
in the physical. It's not a bulge in the physical expanse of water. It's an increase in wave height. What about the wave trough? What about the wave trough, Randy?
That's why you called it localized, Brenda.
That would be the swell, Brenda. The swell. So we're looking at the shoaling effect. Shoaling effects just increases the height of the waves. The swell effect does have peaks and troughs. So you're talking about two different things. In fact, you will have the shoaling effect, then you'll have the swell on top of it, and then you'll have the wind-driven waves on top of that too, or the chop. So you're talking about two different things.
Yeah. So can people get above the waves? Can people move to a position on the land above the waves?
Of course they can.
Yeah, yeah. So it's irrelevant.
Not really, because most people
Yeah.
film from the beach.
Well,
Most
it's
observations are done
irrelevant
from the
because
beach.
you can
Most-
move above. You can move to a position
Of course you can.
so that you can see over the waves. You can see over them.
Is this taken into effect in the curve calc? Is this effect put into the curve calculator? If I stand at the shoreline and I say, "Hey, Mick West, my height above sea level was 6 feet because I was stood by the shoreline right next to the water and I had my tripod set to 6 feet." So is it true that I should put my observational height is 6 feet as I am looking across a shoaling effect that could be 24 foot high?
Well, Ranty, you see that finger of land that is pointing up?
Just a question, Brenda.
You see the finger of land, Ranty?
It's just a question. What should I put? Should I put 6 foot observational height, or should I take this effect into account? It's a very simple question.
That finger of land. Can somebody standing on the shore on that finger of land on the left side see somebody standing on the shore on the right side? No, they can't. Why? Because there's a huge piece
why
of
are we
land
getting a new claim?
How does that
Why are we
refute
getting
the
a new
curvature?
claim? Right, I'm gonna have to shut you up, Brenda. Brenda, we've got a direct question asked to you. He's saying, if this effect, which you admit is an effect, takes place at 6 foot observation height, should it be taken into consideration or not? That's his question.
If you can't see over the waves, you should probably move to higher ground. Yes, you should move to higher ground.
That's not what he asked.
Doesn't have
That's not
anything
what
to
he
do
asked.
with curvature.
That's not what he asked. Right, he's at 6 foot observation. He's already taken the picture. He's brought it to Flat Earth Debate and presented it. Now you are going to run it through them.
If I'm
finished.
laying down,
I have not finished. So, he's already taken the picture. He's not going to be going back. He was there on holiday. Now, he's not got any possibility of changing his elevation height. He's at 6 feet. Now, should that be taken into consideration that has been detailed as shoaling or not? Simple.
if I'm laying face down on the beach and I take a picture from there, I should take into account the fact that I can't see over the 2-foot waves.
Okay, and
Yes.
show us where that's
Yes.
done. Show us where that's done in an Earth curve calculator, please.
It doesn't have to.
You just said it does.
No, it doesn't take into account local features.
You just said you would have to take it into account. We're going to be running
Yes.
it through the calculator, and you're saying it doesn't take it into
Yeah,
account.
it doesn't. It assumes that you're bright enough to figure out that if you're face down on the beach, you can't see over the 3-foot waves that are coming in.
Oh, and
Or
it
that
says
there's a tree
sorry,
in front of your face.
Sorry,
Or
it-
that there's a giant landmass between you and the thing you
I've
want to
heard.
see.
Yeah, Brenda. So it disclaims that, does it, in the calculator? It automatically assumes it's not
No,
assuming
why
anything.
should
It's,
it?
Brenda,
Why?
it's not
Why
assuming
should it?
anything. It's not a human. It's not got assumptive powers. It's just got text and numbers. So does it declare that in the Earth curve calculator then?
Why should the calculator take into account local features?
Because you've just explained to Ranty that they are things that you should be taking into consideration. In fact, you went to the extent of telling him that he should move his position of this photograph that he's already got and brought back and presented. Suddenly we need to go back to original photograph positional wise and change it for the photo to suit the fact that your calculator doesn't take this effect into account. So according to you, we're too stupid if we're taking pictures at 6 feet, even though Slice Barkane is telling us to get down onto the beach. You're telling us that that would be idiotic. So I suggest you take it up with Slice Barkane, who's very much telling people to go down to their beach. That's precisely why Anthony did that. So you're saying Slice
I'm not
stupid.
saying it's idiotic.
That's what you just said. You said you should be clever enough to know to get higher than the waves that's obstructing, and the reason is because your calculator doesn't take it into consideration.
It doesn't need to, and
It does. You've just said that not only should it be overcome by changing your position, yeah, that means it does need to be taken into consideration. And according to you, if you're near the beach, that's not an acceptable observation height because, of course, the waves are obscuring it. Now, this doesn't appear in any Earth curve mathematics. This has never been disclaimed before. Ranty's the one that's highlighted this, and you haven't addressed it. You've just said that he should take the picture from a higher elevation.
well, you could take into account local conditions. right? If the
You can take them into account. So the calculator can take into account local conditions.
how can it possibly take into account your local conditions?
You just said you can take into account local positions. When it comes to your calculator, you're asking me how I can do it. No, I can do it. We're saying your calculator doesn't.
You are expected to take into account
Not me, you dumb moron. Are you deaf? Not me. Your calculator does not take this into consideration. Not me.
Yeah, the calculator doesn't need to.
Yeah, it does. You've just explained how it's something that would cause obstruction and that it'd be stupid to take a picture from 6 feet. We should get above this obstruction, which is obviously there. And according to you, this calculator that you've reified assumes it. Not that calculators have assumptive powers, but that's what you've declared. The calculator assumes it. Now I'm asking you to show us where it declares that, makes that disclaimer.
The calculator doesn't assume anything. It isolates the...
Yeah, it does. It assumes R, you bonehead. It absolutely assumes something. It's called an Earth curve calculator. It assumes we've got Earth curve. So telling me that your calculator doesn't assume things just declares that you're stupid. It does declare
It's a
that
prediction.
it's got an R value. So it absolutely assumes R. You're just wrong. Telling me that it doesn't assume things is incorrect.
Well, of course it assumes R.
Yeah, of course it assumes R. We know.
Of course, of course.
Brenda,
it-
are you on meth or something? I'm serious. Because you keep on just being so interruptive and noisy, and you're totally lost. Are you like taking
This is how science works,
medication or something?
Arwen.
Because
Arwen, this is how science works. You make
Right, let's just
no,
nip
it's
that in
not.
the bud.
No, you're being totally psychotic.
Let's
and
nip that in the bud.
Constantly hardcore contradicting yourself.
Right, I want to
I
nip
have
that in
to
the
agree,
bud.
Brenda. You're off the chain right now, contradicting
You're
yourself
off
left
meth.
and right.
You're acting like you're on meth.
yourself one time, not once.
Science
Okay, the way
establishes
science-
cause and effect with natural phenomena and independent variable that you will vary to validate that you have the correct cause of an effect. That's science. Cause and effect reasoning based on observed phenomena. Models are not science. This is not establishing a cause and effect. I'm in the middle of a statement. Again, Brenda, you don't need to exercise the global mute button. You just do because you're losing. So science does not work like that. Science works by hypothesis. That would be called a scientific prediction. It predicts the cause of an effect. You then go forth to validate the cause, is the cause, by systematic experimentation. Not by assuming an R value, not by using a model, not by ignoring all factors that can cause the effect you're claiming. That's definitely not science. Cause and effect reasoning established through systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis after observing natural phenomena. That's science. You just don't know what science is.
What comes after hypothesis formation and experimentation? What comes after those?
Systematic experimentation.
What comes after experimentation?
Once you've experimented, you either validate or invalidate your hypothesis. Something else which I was going to address. You made it clear earlier that you discount options with science, that you're falsifying with science. This is incorrect. A hypothesis has two sides, a null and an alternative. It is empirical because of this. If you validate your alternative hypothesis, that is to say, you have presupposed or assumed an outcome with an independent variable which you varied. If you confirm that that which you varied caused the effect, you validate your alternative hypothesis and invalidate your null. So science isn't trying to test the null hypothesis. Absolutely incorrect. It's not trying to invalidate anything. It's trying to validate your cause and invalidate your null hypothesis. Likewise, if you validate your null, and one or other, alternative or null, will be validated, then you instantly invalidate your alternative hypothesis, lending an empirical nature to the method. You will either prove or disprove your hypothesis. So your assertion that science is designed to falsify things is incorrect.
No, you need a citation for that because you're just wrong. Science is based on falsification, not verification. Logical positivism was disproved back in the 50s with Karl Popper and other philosophers of science. Science doesn't work by verificationism, it works by falsification, right? So you falsify claims, you don't verify them.
No, you validate cause based on systematic experimentation based on a hypothesis after observing phenomena. The idea of science is to establish the cause of an effect.
It only gives you likelihood, not...
No, it doesn't. It does not give you a correlation. That would be mathematics, statistics. No, science is empirical. It validates or invalidates your hypothesis. You either validate that you have presumed the correct cause of the effect, or you invalidate your presumed cause, validating the null.
No, what you need to do is some reading on the philosophy of science, and verificationism is discounted today, and falsification is how science operates today.
You've literally said that naming things is science.
Yeah, this is from the person who said shoe is observed phenomena. So we don't trust a word you say when it comes to science, given that you've declared that a shoe is an observed phenomena.
Yeah, natural phenomenon is any process known through the senses.
Process? You think shoe is a process? The process of shoe?
That's what a phenomenon is.
A process
Anything
of
known
shoe.
by the senses. You only know
Tell
about
us
shoes
about the
through your
process
senses.
of shoe, brother, please.
So you only know about shoes through your senses. Therefore, it's a natural phenomenon.
So
How is that a process?
A rock's a natural phenomena then?
Yes, because you can only know about them by means of your senses.
Oh, right.
That's what it means to
and
be a
what's the
natural
cause?
phenomenon.
What's the cause of rock? What's the cause?
Natural phenomenon. Anything known through the senses rather than intuition or
my
reasoning.
Question.
Mathematics is not a natural...
time. Yeah, let's shut up. We heard the first time. Now my question is, what is the cause?
What is the cause of what? Mathematics?
No, rock.
What do you mean, what is the cause?
Well, you're saying it's a phenomena, an effect. That's what a phenomena is, an effect. And science is exclusively interested in establishing the cause of an effect. So if you are to assert that rock is an effect, concrete noun, then you can tell me what the cause is and what method you will employ to establish that.
The cause of my phenomenological experience of a rock is the matter of which the rock is composed.
So the matter of which it is composed causes rock?
Yes.
No. In the same way, all of the constituent parts of a car do not cause car.
Yes, they cause my phenomenological experience of the car.
Oh, really? So I lay out a clutch, a gearbox, an engine, tyres, wheels, body panels. Lay them all out. There are all the constituent parts, and according to Brenda, they will cause a car.
No, that's not what I said.
Well, you said it's the cause. I asked what the cause of rock is. You said the constituent parts of rock cause rock. I then say, okay, so in the same way, the constituent parts of car cause car. So I get all the constituent parts of a car, lay them on the ground, and according to you, cause an effect. Cause, constituent parts, effect, car. Wrong. That doesn't cause car. That's not what gives you the effect of car. Not that a car is a bloody phenomena, or a rock, or a shoe. You're retarded.
You're confusing material cause with efficient cause.
Brenda, is the cause of table wood, like you told that kid?
Yes, if it's made out of wood.
So
that's called a material. That's just called the material cause.
I've got a tree outside. So if I sit here long enough, will it cause a table?
It's the matter of which it is composed.
I'm just asking, if I sit here long enough staring at the tree, which is wood, it will cause a table to exist, will it? Or will that require quite a lot of whittling from a dude?
You're confusing efficient cause with material cause.
Yeah, I'm just interested in what causes natural phenomena, not man-made devices, because I already know what causes a man-made table. A man made it. I already know what causes a car to become into existence. A man made it. Now, rock isn't a phenomena. Nothing's happening.
You experience a rock, don't you?
Doesn't mean it's a phenomena. It's not.
That's what a phenomenon is, Nathan. Your experience. That's what phenomenon means. It means your experience.
Wow. We got a whole new definition of words here.
That's not
Yeah,
new.
I'm gonna say the
That's
same
what it's
thing.
always meant. Phenomenon means your experience. Your experience is your phenomenon. It's a phenomenological experience of things are caused by the material of which those things are composed. And then
Excuse
you're
me,
confusing
Brenda.
efficient cause with material cause.
Excuse me, Brenda. Are you trying to use Aristotle here inaccurately?
Am I using it inaccurately? Do you know what the difference is between efficient cause and material cause?
You know how he starts off the four causes?
It's efficient, material, formal, and there's one other I'm forgetting. Final cause or something. I forget.
Yes, yes. So let me work it backwards. The final cause, and I'm reading this, decoration of a house garden. Efficient cause, the sculptor. Material cause, the block of marble. Formal cause, which you forgot, the sculptor's idea or plan for the sculpture. The marble didn't make the statue.
And the sculptor's
Excuse me. Formal cause. Start there next time.
yeah.
Right. So the rock is the block of marble, but the sculptor looking at the rock says, I want to make it look like this. What's the cause of the rock becoming a statue? Not the rock itself.
I know. Man made it.
So in the case,
Man
so
made
in the
it.
case, so in
Yeah.
the
Man
case
made
of
it.
the
Man
car,
made it.
that's Nathan.
Shout out to Colin Turner. Brenda is right. Wood is the material cause of table. There you go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Colin Turner. Thanks for the super chat.
Yes. Yes. I'm glad we're educating Nathan to the philosophy of 2,000 years ago.
Oh, I wasn't interested in philosophy. I was interested in science, specifically natural science, dealing with the natural world. This is a flat earth debate. So your philosophical causes of things aren't of interest to me. I'm interested in natural science, a study of the physical and natural world. Tables, they're not natural. Wood's natural, but it's not a phenomena. It has no cause to establish. Now, tree growth, you could call that a phenomena, and you could establish cause through systematic experimentation. You might even be able to build a scientific theory of tree growth through repeated and persistent experimentation of varying different causes of varying different effects that you observe during tree growth. That would be natural science. Now, tables and their material causes, i.e. wood, aren't of interest to me. I'm not interested in wooden tables. A man made a wooden table. I already know the cause. I already know that a table is definitely not a natural phenomena that I need to establish the cause of. What we're talking about on this show is phenomena like, let me think, boats claiming that they go over a reified sphere edge. Yeah, now that's definitely what you claim to be a phenomena, and you also know the cause. Now that's science when we're looking at the natural world, and you fundies want to assert that you've got the cause. The only thing that can cause obstruction, Earth curve, because nothing else is getting accounted for in those calculations, as Brenda made very clear. As I clear my throat, I will say, if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, unfortunately, this is where we bid the Nathan Oakley 1980 live audience farewell. Be sure to check out nathanoakley.com and the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. A massive thank you to all of today's live debating panel for making this show possible. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on the premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!